Hey y'all, hey, what's the word? I hope everyone is doing good, doing great, and feeling swell. If not, I'm sending you some positive energy. Remember that it's okay to not be okay. However, storms and bad situations are only temporary. Shit might seem like it's the end of the world now, but this too shall pass, and let it be and let it be. It will get better eventually. But on another note, welcome to any new listeners, and thank you to my loyal ones that's been consistently thugging it out with me. Like, thank y'all. Y'all been showing up, showing out. Y'all been listening. Y'all been y'all been doing the damn thing. And I want to just say thank you. But once again, welcome to any newbies. And if you didn't know, Thugging It Out is a platform where we create a safe space to acknowledge, experience, and overcome real life issues in a positive and healthy way. So let's hop right in. This week, I want to piggyback off of last week and talk about what the fuck is next after letting go. Quick reminder, let things go that no longer serve you. Parting ways with people, places, clothes, jobs, and things can be a beautiful thing. So if you have not already dropped these toxic friends, those bad relationships, them weak ass jobs, this is that reminder to go ahead and do it. Like, stop messing around. Go ahead, get it done. Do it. However, sometimes leaving is easy and sometimes it's hard and it seems almost impossible. However, leaving is kind of the easiest part. And I know y'all like, wait a minute, you just said it's easy and hard. It's a big contradiction because sometimes when we are in bad situations, it just seems like it's almost impossible to leave. Like, we don't really think about the next steps. We just think about the now. We don't think about the future. We might just sit there and be like, well, she did like kind of stab me in the back this time. So, I mean, how can I, like, what I'm going to do without him? Or, yeah, he just cheated on me this time. So, but I don't want to start over. Like, that's what I mean by leaving can be hard in those aspects. But after you do it, that's when the real work starts. That's when the hardest part begins. Starting a new chapter, starting over, or even the unknown is the most uncomfortable phase in life. Like, real talk. Not knowing what's next and not knowing how things are going to be or how can it change or if it will change, that's the most uncomfortable phase in your life. Fortunately, this uncomfortable phase is where the most growth, the most change, and the best part of your life can happen. So, yeah, what now? Let's go over some next steps about parting ways with things that no longer serve you. So let's start with these friends. We started with friends last time, so let's get back on them. Friends play a big role in our everyday lives, and ending friendships can hurt like hell. Accepting the fact that people who we thought would be around for the rest of our life and accepting that they are no longer a part of our life or our journey, it will hurt. I'm not gonna sit there and lie. I could sit there and say, leave, let it go, let it go, let it go. That's the easy part because actually leaving and letting go, that's the most painful part. It hurts. It will not feel good and it will start making us question ourselves. And to get through that phase, all we could do is feel it. Like, feeling it is very important. You need to feel all those uncomfortable, painful feelings and remind yourself of why. Remind yourself why they can no longer be in your life. And also reflect on the type of friends you want to be surrounded with. Imagine that type of friend you want and imagine the type of friend that you want to be. Like, imagine that relationship. Focus on the positive of the change and don't dwell, you know, on the bad or how much it hurts or the pain. And sometimes our mind can trick us and make us think about all the good. And it's our mind's way of protecting us. It does have a trauma response where it kind of blocks out all the bad. So when we think about that person, it kind of only go towards the good, like, oh, they did do this. She helped me out with that. She did have my back. But it's not going to actually help us remember, oh, she had my back, but it came at a cost. Or she had my back to a certain extent. Or she had my back, but yet she still stabbed me in the back. So I want us to really, when we think about next steps after leaving a friendship, we need to reflect. We need to experience, really, we just need to acknowledge it, experience in order to overcome. Like, that's really the thugging out, slogan or whatever. And that's kind of how that process of moving forward after a friendship. And of course, all friendships are not the same. You could have a friend for 1 year, 2 years, and it might not work out. But sometimes those 10-year relationships, they hurt. Like, I remember I had a best friend. We were best friends for, I'd say, over 10 plus years. But we are no longer friends at all. And it's like out of sight, out of mind. It's not no bad blood there. Well, not on my side. I don't really know about hers, but on my part is none. But it is kind of unfortunate because she was my son's godmother type of things. So you got those type of situations as well. And of course, we don't speak anymore. So I guess my son don't have a godmama no more. But in a way, it's those types of painful separations where you really have to just go through it, roll with the punches, feel it, and always remember the why of why you guys are no longer friends, and why the relationship had to end, and really what type of relationship that you want, what type of friendship you want. And these steps are similar to steps after a breakup, because honestly, I feel that friendships and romantic breakups carry the same pain. It's something about leaving people who you thought, you loved and they loved you. Having to end it is just a different type of pain. I really think that friendship breakups and romantic breakups are legit the same type of pain. And to be quite frankly, the only thing that can help in those situations is time. Healing takes time. And the most important thing to do is to find yourself. And finding yourself, that could be, self-reflecting, meditate, taking up a hobby, spending quality time with yourself to become whole again. Because with every person we love, friends or, relationship wise, we give a piece of ourselves away. So part of the next steps is reclaiming that piece that, someone took for granted or even damaged. And I feel like with friendships and relationships, all we can do is feel it, acknowledge it, feel it, and think about what we're going to do in order to heal ourselves and what we want moving forward. But this makes me realize that I didn't touch on the fact that we need to start retiring some of our clothes. Like, regardless of how much you loved it or it looked good before, throw that shit away because it don't look that good now. It's faded, it's too small, let it go. And I have this bad too because it's sometimes just hard throwing away, good shit, especially if it's only because it's too small. But I'm a hop on the train too. We gotta retire it and just let it go and look at it as an opportunity to go shopping. And side note, I really been looking into like minimalism, and your girl is getting kind of sucked in. But my only reservation is I don't know how I feel about only having 5 pair of jeans, and that's kind of like the max. Even though it do seems more sustainable, but I mean, I just don't know. But oh damn, I'm drifting away. Let's get back back to it. So after letting things go, the most important thing to do is take time for yourself. Don't go out making new BFFs and finding somebody else to lay down with, or just finding someone to help you through the pain. You got to experience it yourself. Like, take time for you. And that could be, working out, go read, go speak with a counselor, get into some type of new routine. Anything that promotes like positive health and growth, get with it. We can't just always think that people or objects are what's going to help us or heal us when it comes to letting go of the old. All of that stuff comes from within. So in order to overcome it and to, not repeat the same mistake, it's actually really just focusing on ourselves, building ourselves back up, learning to love ourselves without friends, without that romantic partner. And honestly, I think though that is the most important thing when you think about next steps and ending friendships or relationships, is going back to you, figuring out what you are, what you want, what you like, and kind of sort of building you up to the point where you will see the signs of a toxic friendship or toxic relationships. So that way you won't actually have to experience it again. Because who likes to experience pain twice? It don't feel good, it's not favorable, and it's just honestly unnecessary. So now about them jobs. After leaving a job, I think the best next step is to find your purpose. Do a little soul searching and be more intentional about your next steps. Like I said, 40 hours a week is a big portion of our lives. So be very sure about your next steps. Update for me. Job interview was cool, but the position is not kind of what I'm looking for as far as like the workload and environment. So yeah, I'm open to other options. However, Friday was my last day of work. Did I give notice? Not so much, but I'm taking these last few weeks of my kids' summer vacation and I'm focusing on them. However, I do have a small business, so I will put more energy into that and growing that and come up with some type of plan for myself and for my future. Because like I said, we got to be a little more intentional. And I'm just tired of, getting these positions and not really being into it. And it's like, oh, okay, it's cool for now. But then it's like, oh, no, it's not giving what it's supposed to give. So that's me. But back to y'all. Take some time for yourself and focus on you a little bit and come up with a plan that works for you. Kind of like what I'm doing. Like I said, I'm taking time for myself. I'm gonna come up with a plan and I'm gonna hit it. I'm gonna get to it after a while. So set some long and short term goals. And also set a budget. Because if you like me, gone with the wind and impulsive as fuck, you need to create a budget. Keep up with them coins. Because if you just gonna quit and resenting yourself, you gotta make sure you prepare for life. Like be better for real, for real. Because even with me, I could kind of do that. But luckily I do have a man that can handle the load financially. So I do have that luxury. And maybe you do too. If you do too, girl, let's figure it out. Focus on us. But I also been on the other side where, as a single parent and you walk off the job, that's cool until you realize, school start next month, you gotta pay some bills, and it can get stressful. So just make sure you be very, very intentional on your steps. So you don't do things that you regret or you don't do things that just makes your life harder. So yeah, after letting go of these weak ass jobs, let's set some goals. Let's pick up a skill and just be very intentional on your next steps. And if you did not know, like on Google and I think on Coursera, I think that's the name of it, Coursana, whatever it is, they do be having like free classes where you could take like a project manager class, or they have a lot of different skill classes that you can take. So say for instance, you quit your job and you trying to get into a different field, maybe sign up for a class or even go back to school. That could be an option. And you could figure out, maybe you could work part-time and go to school as well until you find what you really want to do. So instead of just job hopping and just going to these rinky-dink jobs, how about you kind of invest in yourself to help yourself become who you really want to be? instead of just being stuck in loops and just constantly doing the same thing. And remember that we are in control of our own happiness. Life is what you make it. We got to roll with the punches. And don't forget that closing one door, another one is always there, even if you got to walk down the hall a little bit. It might not seem like it at the time, but it's another one. It's always another option. And yeah, so that brings us to the end of another episode of Thugging It Out. Remember to follow us on Instagram at _thugging it out _ and follow us and give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Amazon Music, Spotify, or even Google Podcasts so you can stay updated when every new episode drops on every Sunday of every week. And I hope you have a fantastic week. And remember to be grateful, be blessed, be thankful, and keep thugging it out. Peace.